Hey, Kaiser here with another video. Today's ride was a road ride in the North Georgia mountains. We climbed a total of 4 passes totaling to 42 miles and 5,000 feet of climbing.
Oh no.
A celebratory first OTP ride with actual new friends that I made in 3 years or something. We started near Dahlonega, Georgia and did a counterclockwise loop up Neels Gap, then Wolfpen Gap twice, and then finally Woody Gap. I was a wonderfully terrible videographer for this ride, so it skips scenes a lot, but hope it's still fun to watch. Now sit back and enjoy. We left Atlanta, Georgia around 7 a.m. and drove about 75 miles north. Our group stopped at a thermopody place by Lake Zwerner, about 2 miles from the start. It was really pretty here and I feel like we could have totally started the ride here, but it ain't my ride. Anyways, we drive up to this roundabout place where cyclists park apparently for this route, and I as usual was the last one that got ready, so the ride begins. At the beginning we had about 5 miles of rolling hills to warm up, although I honestly didn't warm up at all. But yeah, you could really tell that you're in a totally different place compared to riding in town with these pristine roads and houses and trees surrounding us. I was so stoked to be out here while also being a bit nervous for the climbs that were coming since I hadn't done this first climb before.
Jeez! At 1 mile does the climb start? 5-ish. Okay.
Right at the dead end.
Here we got the first glimpse of the great mountains and the nature out here. So this is the beginning of the first climb, Neels Gap, and this is the one road to get to the top. It was interesting how at the beginning of this road it felt like we were constantly getting passed by cars, but once we officially started climbing up, it just felt like way less cars were going through here. Yes, there's 2 lanes to go up, but the general volume of cars seemed much less as we got further into the climb. I took the safer option of taking the shoulder wherever I could for this climb since it never hurts to be safer, but as all the mountain roads up here, there's rumble strips everywhere which makes the climbing a small amount more annoying. As we started climbing Neels Gap, my body wasn't warm yet, so the heart rate definitely spiked and I was breathing a bit heavy. But I found out that this climb has a small descent after an initial climb, which let my heart rate come back down and officially get ready to climb a mountain. But let's talk about these descents first. Wow, these roads are beautifully smooth. I just finished a fried clay gravel race and was smashing down gravel roads and that, so this surface was by far the best feeling ever. We officially started this first climb and it was my first time doing this one, so I didn't have any idea on the length or the steepness. I was just dealing with whatever came at me and it ended up being a 2-lane super peaceful climb. There were even a couple sections of mini waterfalls I would like to stop at next time and stare at a little bit. There were only a couple glimpses of nice scenery, but honestly that's most of the mountains out here. There were a couple sections of this mountain pass where the lane decreases to 1 lane, but most of the climbs seem to have 2 lanes. This made it for quite a relaxed climbing experience, but it was also perfectly not steep to my liking, so I really enjoyed this one. We eventually caught up to a couple of gentlemen who we parked next to and said good morning again.
Morning, morning. Morning. Global warming, baby. That's pretty out there. Nice.
As we were about to finish off this climb, we had this giant switchback, and as we got to the other side, we could see Ali and Atit riding, which was both super exciting and disappointing since I was planning on riding down and climbing back up after Karam and I finished climbing. In other words, we were slower than I thought and they're riding much faster than I thought.
Yeah! Whoop whoop!
And at the very end, Karam and I sped up for the finish and I beat him, so 1-0 me. But none of the sprint finishes were recorded today since I'm a terrible videographer, so you'll just have to believe that I put down 5,000 watts at the top while doing a wheelie and demolished my competition completely.
Neels Gap. Nice. Good job, Carl. Nice, good job. Oh no. Already?
Yes.
Okay, right side.
And down the descent of Neels Gap where Atit and Karam raced on down ahead. I wasn't planning on speeding down descents, and this was also Ali's first real mountain ride, sorta, I think, and she has rim brakes, so I kept her in my sights behind for most of the descent, just in case. But yeah, physically looking back while descending down around 40 miles per hour was definitely terrifying, but the roads were so good that I could afford that. These roads in the morning were perfect to try to remember how to descend well. It took almost the whole ride to feel more confident and be able to not touch the brakes on the curbs, but being bad at the descents also made them more interesting.
Nice, beautiful.
We descend right down to Wolfpen Gap for the next climb, and this one I did before maybe 3 years ago, so I was excited to get a PR here. And out of all the climbs I've done around here, I still think this is my favorite ascent and descent. A little steeper than ideal at some points, but nothing unbearable.
That was a fun descent.
It wasn't cold either.
Woo!
Keep going!
Nice job! Wolfman! This one's Steve! Oh, it's cold.
Oh, that's nice.
I most definitely filmed way less than I thought I did, so there's almost no footage. This mountain has tight turns and narrower roads, but again, I love it. Karam and I pushed decently hard, at least for me, and suffered. We caught most of the gentlemen from before and went on to the top where we did a final sprint once again that was not recorded.
I didn't record the sprint finish. The 2 miles per hour sprint. I lost.
I'm not doing that again.
I'm going home. They can do it again. They're in the same car. Hey, good job.
We only got one more.
I don't want to do that again.
Have to reassess.
Yeah, I'm fine with going home. 2,000 feet is fine.
It's like a cruise and then it's a 5-mile descent. And then you can climb that again if you want.
So we wanted to do one of the mountain passes twice and we're debating between doing this one or the last one twice. Right after we climbed this one, I was so exhausted that I didn't want to climb it again. But once we waited for everyone to get to the top and chatted for forever like we always do, we all recovered well enough and decided to do this one once more, just slower. Our legs and bodies would cool down completely from chatting so long that every descent was extra cold for me, but down we went on my favorite descent.
You got it. I love that one. That one's so fun. It's also so much warmer down here.
Yeah.
What?
I thought to myself, did I really do climb that?
Yeah, I know, right? As I was descending, I'm like, I kind of want to stop descending here. Woo! Whoop, whoop. I regret it already. I'm in the second to lowest gear already, dude.
I'm on my lowest now too.
The beginning of this climb is always painful, but eventually we warmed back up. Karam and I were going significantly slower this second time around as the other two very much caught up to us, even with the initial head start that we had.
We're going so slow, they're right there. I'm dying. Can't record anything because I'm dying.
And here we see the competitive side of Ellie where she ditches a T and goes for the win. Karam had some gas left, so went up ahead a little bit. I happily rode next to her until about 100 feet from the top where she tried to inch ahead and I wasn't about to ignore that kind of obvious attack, so I sped up. Once again, not recorded.
I was not. I was not taking it easy. I was dying.
I thought we were taking it easy up there. We were.
Yeah, and then Allie's too competitive.
I couldn't help it.
That's like Ellie's like, ah. Those Jesus Christ. Did the single file guy say single file to you guys too?
Yeah.
Huh?
I don't like climbing. I understand now.
What do you think we were doing today?
I said 3 mountains for
Well,
sure.
not gonna lie, I stayed silent when he said that, hoping that you would be like, eh. And then you're like, oh, outside of Atlanta sounds cool, and I'm like, damn it.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong, it's fun. Here.
After a long chat session, down we went towards the last climb, Woody Gap. To get there we had about 6 to 7 miles of rolling roads after this initial descent. I had never done this descent before, so I had to keep looking down at the computer to see the turns coming up ahead.
That sign is huge.
We got down to this lake, Lake Winfield Scott, which was a surprise to me but a very nice change in scenery. It was pretty hot by this time, so the breeze from the water felt quite nice as well.
Oh, hello there.
Hello.
Hi. Oh no, it's Allie again. Dying. Oh, she dropped her chain. Go, 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 go.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Going through.
Yeah. Where's the teeth?
Back there.
Gone.
This rolling section was peaceful, but there was also a pretty strong headwind the whole time, which made it a bit painful. Adding to that was Karam, who didn't want to slow down at all, so ouch. But this segment was super pretty for sure. We hadn't gotten normal countryside American scenery since the very beginning of this ride, so this was nice. A couple animals here and there, blue skies, nice looking houses, and a lot of roaming bikes.
Nice. Pretty.
But eventually we made the final turn onto whatever road this is and started climbing up Woody Gap. We were climbing from the easy side, so this was barely a climb. It only goes up around 400 feet in 2 miles or so, but this was the perfect final climb to do once you're tired. I really liked this view at the beginning of the climb that was open and vast and green and blue, and I just loved it.
Take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia. Something, something. And country home. Oh, it's take me home.
At the beginning of this climb, Atit went on the offensive up front and started climbing fast. Eventually, Karam chased and I just kept grinding up normally. But yeah, successful climb to the top, and we were finally able to take some good pictures to post on Strava and Instagram. This final descent was a long one, 12 minutes in total of constant downhill at a cruising pace, so I was very glad we weren't climbing on that side. It's about a 5-mile descent with 1,200 feet of descending. Atit went blasting up ahead, and the three of us decided to stay safe with the significant amount of cars that were here. I at least didn't want a car to forcefully try to pass one of us and go kaboom, so it was definitely better to stay together. This descent was so fun as well. Lots of twists and turns, and I could check out the view a little bit. It was a bit hard to look to the side to make sure I didn't crash into Allie ahead of me. But yeah, the weather was just perfect to end the day, although a bit more green in the trees would have been prettier. So I guess we have to go back again.
Oh wow. That's actually it.
Anyways, the end of this descent ends up right at the roundabout we started at. I was expecting a few rolling hills or flat roads to get back, but it ended right there, which was amazing.
Good ride.
Nice, that was fun.
I loved ending on that.
No, I will not climb it.
Now the thing I love about this friend group is that we're all obsessed with our fitness data on our Garmins. So even after finishing this ride, we were discussing our scores and changes in the numbers for a solid 30 minutes while changing and packing up.
My VO2 max decreased to 59 from 60.
My heart rate matches our elevation map.
My FTP didn't go up.
I would hope so.
It did first.
You look like you're ready to go run a 5K.
And you just never know any better.
I did.
I remember when we were all like, we didn't invite Karam. Yeah. I was like, anyone have his number? No.
After packing up, we all drove to Dahlonega, which was on the way home, and grabbed some lunch. We were initially headed to some tavern, but they told us it's an hour wait, so to the next place, which was an Irish pub restaurant thing place called Shenanigans. I wanted to check out the mini market thing that was going on, so dragged everyone through that for the sake of content, and heading towards the restaurant we go. We initially couldn't find the entrance, but got there eventually. Really nice vibe here with the nice breeze coming through the mesh window. Here's the menu. Allie and I got a really good chicken sandwich, Karam got a generic burger, and Atit got a veggie burger. The inside of this store had dollar bills everywhere, which is a thing I guess, and yeah, that's about it. Back home to Atlanta we go. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!
Some hills.
No, right? I was like, my calves and my knees are feeling it right now. Bye! Alright, Carl. Give me a piggyback ride all the way back.
I could do that.
You go to the gym.
Well, I haven't been
No, you don't.
since January 4th, 2025.